She was not your typical Hollywood leading lady. Goofy, cute, funny, and gorgeous, all at the same time. Brittany Murphy achieved what many in Hollywood could not: cult film status. Just watch her movies: Clueless, 8 Mile, Girl Interrupted, among few. So when she was mysteriously found dead on her bathroom floor at just 32, the conspiracy theories ran amok. Fascination over her death became obsession. And well over a decade later, it has not gone away. Just check out the new HBO Max docuseries called What Happened, Brittany Murphy?
Actress Brittany Murphy has died
Media
at
and
the age of
paparazzi
32.
surrounded the home that she shared with her husband, Simon Monjack.
Simon took her away.
Joining us now is Jim Moret. He's the chief correspondent for Inside Edition, and Roger Neal. He's the former publicist for both Brittany's late husband, Simon Monjack, as well as Brittany's mother, Sharon Murphy. Welcome to you both. Roger, I'm going to begin with you. Have you seen this documentary, and is it accurate?
I have seen it, and yes, it's pretty much accurate. I'm very happy with how it came out.
So do we learn something new about Brittany? Because honestly, all these years later, I still don't understand how she died and how Simon died just 5 months later, both of them of pneumonia and severe anemia, the exact same cause. It just, for the rest of us out here in reasonable land, it just doesn't sound normal.
Well, you know, they lived in a house that had a lot of mold, and I know in the documentary you'll see that mold did not, according to the pathologist, have a place in why they passed away. But they didn't go to the doctor. They really didn't take care of their health, and so I think that was a big contributing factor. But had you been in the home, which I was many times, the mold was all over the living room, around the windows, around the doors. I mean, it was, and they lived in this 24/7. So I think it helped. I think it sort of helped their immune system go down, my personal opinion. And I just didn't think they lived a healthy lifestyle. I really don't think that they took care of themselves. They didn't go to the doctor like they should have. And they went, you know, they sort of had a feel-good pharmacy that would take care of them. And I think that was a big mistake, too. So I think there's a few contributing factors to why that they're not here today.
So one of the things, Jim Moret, that I sort of was floored by, I thought I knew everything about her, and then I learned that Simon had like a secret child with someone else, and she never knew, but she went to her death never knowing about that. I found that really disturbing.
Well, there were a lot of disturbing things in the documentary. You mentioned severe anemia. One of the other things that the toxicology report showed, multiple drug intoxication for both of them. Don't forget, they both died within 5 months of each other, very similar circumstances, pneumonia and drugs in their system. The child only underscored the aspect of Simon Monjack that most people believed to be true, and that was the suspicion that he was a con artist, that he was a Svengali type who had somehow taken over Brittany's life. And, you know, Roger, I wish that you had represented her, because Roger does such good work, and he cares about his clients. And I think that so many people tried to steer Brittany in the right direction when they felt she had taken the wrong turn by linking herself with this man who seemed to control her life, and at the very same time seemed to destroy her career. And somebody like Roger could have hopefully helped to steer her in the right direction.
Actually, Roger, I'd love to just bounce on that, because I hear con men all the time. I think in this documentary, his own mom uses the quote, he's economical with the truth, and his own brother repeatedly tells the filmmakers, we're not the same person, we're not the same person. And then I learned that he actually like spent her money like it was water and gave her fake jewelry. How much did he spend?
Well, he went through $3 million of her money in 3 years. So he was going through $1 million a year, and he did have a facade that he was portraying. Brittany and her mom thought he was having jewelry made for them that was worth millions of dollars, that he was buying property investments for them for the future. And it turned out after he passed away, and the dust settled, she wanted me to go, her mom, Sharon, wanted me to go sell the jewelry. I took it to 2 Rodeo Drive jewelry designers that I represent, and both of them said the jewelry is all fake. The only thing real was the Cartier watch. And I had to take the jewelry back to her and watch her face as I told her that this was all fake. And then it just hit her. And she said, I guess there's no land. I guess there's no homes. I guess there's no investments. And she was right. But the thing about Simon, Ashley, is that if you met him and sat and talked to him, a very smart man. He could sit down and play a piano. He was a composer, a great photographer. The pictures he took of Britney were amazing. But he had this other side to him where he didn't play it straight. He was sort of a con artist. And I just hate saying that because you sit and talk with him, he was such a nice man. But I could tell you this, they loved each other and they were soulmates. And I truly believe that. I don't believe that he wanted anything bad to happen to her. I just believe you can love somebody so much and overprotect them, and it could cost them their life. And I think that's what happened here.
Ashley,
Well, con
if I
men
could
are
just jump
often
in,
known to
though.
be lovely. Yeah, but really quick, because I got to fit in a quick break, Jim. Just really quick comment.
No, this other child, the mother of that child said when she read that Britney had married Simon, she thought, oh my gosh, this is a woman who fell for the same man I did, and look what he did to me. He ghosted her after she was pregnant. She never saw him after the baby was born, and he never saw that child.
That is so depressing. Okay, when we come back after the break, I want to talk about something that I found very upsetting, and that was the before and after of Britney Murphy. She was normal, then she got skinny, then she got emaciated, and it turns out it's what a casting agent said to her that caused her to drop so much weight. Talk about that in a moment.